Today, I'm taking a closer look at two brand new laptops from ASUS. Tech it before you wreck it. What's up, geeks? I'm Kirk. These are very different laptop models. First, the ProArt PZ13 is a laptop, sure, but the screen detaches and it becomes a full-blown tablet as well. In addition, this is running on a Snapdragon processor, even though it does run a full-blown version of Windows. And then if you stick around for the second half, we're going to talk about the ZenBook S14. This thing looks cool. It is an ultra-portable, less than half an inch thick. It only weighs about 2.6 pounds, but they say it still packs a pretty powerful punch and has a pretty good screen. I wanted to know more, so I had a conversation with Whitson Gordon from ASUS to take a deeper dive into these two new laptops.
The PZ13, the ProArt, the name Art is in there. I imagine that has something to do with who this laptop slash tablet is designed for.
Exactly. It is right in the name. This is a two-in-one tablet slash kind of, has a detachable keyboard you can hook up, kind of use it like a laptop. Really designed for content creators, artists, creative professionals, right? People like that. It's got that beautiful OLED touchscreen. The colors are just going to pop right off that. You can use a stylus with it, kind of create digital art or whatever it is you want to do. And it's got, just killer performance for whatever kind of creative apps you're running on it.
Well, and what surprised me too is the price point, because it actually starts out, I think, at $1,100. And for something like that, typically if you see a higher end tablet slash computer, or I should say a laptop with a removable screen, sometimes they can start getting expensive, especially if they have any sort of decent specs. But this is something somebody could use Photoshop or Adobe Premiere on the laptop.
100%. Yeah. And you're right. You said it well. It is still a premium device, right? It's not that high cost, but it's not a budget tablet by any means. And part of it is that we put the new Snapdragon X Plus chip in it, which is crazy levels of performance, but also gives you really good battery life, which is almost even more important for a tablet than it is for a traditional laptop, especially if you're doing kind of creative work on the go. And so these new chips really, really give it that kind of extra oomph.
Well, let's talk a bit about that, the Snapdragon, because normally you think of Snapdragon processor, it's a mobile device, right? It's a phone.
Yeah, right. It's a phone.
It's not a computer. I feel like I don't feel like, I know that we're kind of changing that a little bit. Microsoft obviously helped change that as well with kind of putting Windows on the Snapdragon. How much does that change the game? Because you can make a device like this, whereas maybe 3 years ago you couldn't.
Yeah, and you're right. Microsoft had a big part in that because they're helping make a lot of the apps that you would typically use on like an Intel system, right, or something else like that, compatible with these new Snapdragon chips. So you're able to take advantage of that really high performance kind of tailor-made chip with that really, really crazy efficiency. And it's got AI capabilities into it and a bunch of stuff like that as well, which kind of fits in with Microsoft's new Copilot and allows you to do all of that locally on the machine. So it's just kind of like the stars are finally aligning for Snapdragon on Windows, and it is a really exciting time.
Well, and do you think that maybe the reference point for, if I need like a workhorse machine that's going to do whether, especially for creators, like you talk about some video editing, some Photoshop editing, I feel like in the past, like that's $3,000, period. End of story. I'm not getting a portable machine that can do that kind of stuff. And maybe that mind frame is kind of changing a little bit. Certainly you guys still sell $3,000 portable machines that are stuffed
Absolutely.
with specs.
But you're right that this does change that and makes it more accessible to more people, and that's the goal, right? Because this isn't it says ProArt in the name, and it's made for people who are doing that a lot, but not everyone is necessarily a pro. Some people are, I edit videos of my family every year with all the videos we've taken of our kids, and this allows me to do that. Not only that, we have our new AI-powered StoryCube software on there. So you can import all of your photos and videos, whether they're raw or whether they're just taken on your phone. It'll help you manage all that, search through it really, really fast using AI, and even kind of start helping you create those kinds of videos and stuff. This is kind of stuff that everybody is doing nowadays.
And there probably will be a limit, though. I mean, it doesn't have an RTX card or anything built in like that. It's got a 13-inch screen. So there probably is a point where some people might say, okay, this isn't quite enough. It's time to go to that next step.
Sure, yeah, and if you're a pro, you may have a workstation at home where you're doing some of that really, really heavy lifting, but you've got the tablet for kind of on the go work if you're out in the field, like I know you do, or you're just kind of doing some digital art at your favorite location. That's the kind of stuff where this can be a companion to your normal workstation too.
All right, so let's switch to the S14, which I think falls into that super mobile category. You know, the laptop you can slide in your backpack and you almost don't even know it's there. I mean, there's
you stole my line. That was exactly how I was going to paint it.
Well, it's a category that I think a lot
thin.
of people want, right? A lot of people are going after these laptops that just aren't huge and bulky.
Absolutely. You know, there are, again, you can get a laptop with a ton of power in it. And this has the performance for what most people are doing every day. It's got that AI stuff for Copilot, which a lot of people are going to start using more and more. You know, it's got a solid processor in it, but the goal was to make it so thin and light that you can barely even tell that it's in your bag, while still giving you all of the conveniences that people want, right? Like, it's crazy thin, but it still has full-size USB ports on it. It still has a full-size HDMI port on it. So if you want to plug it into a TV or a projector at work or whatever, you can do that without having to pull out your bag of dongles, right? These are the kind of conveniences, the kind of everyday stuff that people actually want. And so we made it a priority to kind of get that super thin and light form factor without giving up the stuff that actually makes your day easier.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're a proper geek if you don't have a bag full of dongles every
Oh yeah, I've got a closet full of them. Right. But you know, you don't want to have to bring them with you for everything.
Yeah, and you barely fit those ports on here. I mean, there is a point where these laptops get so thin and so light that you have to start going to like a USB-C port instead of a proper USB port. I mean, this is probably on the edge of that. I mean, it barely fits there.
It is, but it's funny because when I look at some of our competitors who have laptops this thin or thicker than this, and they ditched everything for USB-C, and when I first saw this, I was like, well, there's still room. We can still put HDMI on this. Come on. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we need. I also love, they used a new material for it called Ceraluminum, which is a kind of a mix of ceramic and aluminum, which is super cool. Feels really nice, like when you touch it, but it also makes it lighter. So again, when you put it in your bag, you don't really feel it there. It also has less harmful like residue during the manufacturing process, which is a nice kind of eco-friendly
versus full aluminum.
Yeah,
full 100% aluminum. Interesting. And so the price point, I think this one starts at about $1,500. Who is this designed for?
$1,400.
$1,400. Sorry. Who's it designed for at that price point?
This is designed for kind of anyone and everyone, right? It's the people who want an everyday laptop that can get through all of their everyday tasks, whether it's doing AI stuff with Copilot or, you know, you can still edit photos and stuff on this without too much hassle. It's got that beautiful 3K OLED display. Yeah. But people who want that kind of extra level of premium, right? They want that Ceraluminum finish. They want something so light they can't even tell it's there. They want that OLED screen, so they have that pixel perfect contrast with colors that just like pop right off, right? All of that kind of extra stuff, Thunderbolt ports, the little premium touches that you don't always get on stuff at a lower price point. This is what elevates that everyday laptop to the everyday laptop.
Yeah, no, it has that high-end look for sure. And something else I noticed, and I don't know if this is by design or not, but like the design on the cover of this laptop almost reminds me of the design on your phones. And a part of me wonders if the phone team and the laptop teams are now starting to kind of become maybe intermingled to some extent, because I mean, that's how you get these things this small, is you use the concepts that you put into phones and put them into laptops.
Sure, there's a little bit of that going on. We do have departments that kind of talk to each other and stuff like that, but a lot of that is our overall design team just really putting in the work to make stuff that is awesome and then spread that across as many of our devices as possible, because if it works on one device, you can bet people are going to like it on another too.
Yeah, totally, especially when it comes to design stuff. Now, this is an Intel processor. This is not the Snapdragon. Do you see those two coexisting? You guys very much still make two lines of products with Snapdragon, obviously some of the newer ones. Then you guys have been making Intel products forever. Do we see those coexisting? Are there decisions when you guys kind of come out with a product? Is this going to be a Snapdragon processor or a full-blown Intel processor?
Absolutely. For the time being, all this stuff is still coexisting, and we want to give people the choice, right? If you want to try out the new Snapdragon chip and get all the benefits that come with that on something like the PZ13, you can go for it. If you know that you have programs that still don't run quite as well on that, or you want kind of stay with the tried and true until, that Snapdragon kind of gets put through its paces, you have the new Intel Core Ultra 7 Series 2 processor on the ZenBook S14. At the end of the day, it's all about user choice. That's kind of what we want to do. We want to give everyone as many options as they can to pick what works for them in their lifestyle.
All right, you're the gaming guy. I know this isn't a gaming PC per se. Can I game on this at $1,400?
So it doesn't have a dedicated graphics chip. It has Intel's integrated graphics, which are still good, and you're going to be able to play. I would say you could do some light gaming on it, right? If you're playing like Hearthstone, some of those card games, or some kind of lighter, kind of retro style or indie games, you could totally do that on this. The PZ13, you could also do probably some gaming on that. In fact, the PZ13 was originally built off of our ROG Z13 gaming tablet, which you can still buy if you're more of a gamer. That's an awesome choice too, and we kind of adapted it for the ProArt audience with the PZ13. So yeah, again, all about choice depending on what kind of stuff you do. We have a device for you for sure.
Yeah, hardcore gamers, you're probably still going to want to look for a dedicated graphics chip inside the laptop. Would you guys
Absolutely.
offer those too? I mean, you start getting to a higher price point when you want those specs, right?
Yeah, it depends. Some of them you could definitely find them around $1,400. It's going to be different. It's going to have different kind of features and finishes and things like that. Again, it's all about making the right laptop for the right person.
I want to know what you guys think. Are you shopping for one of these laptop models? Maybe you just got one. Are there features that you wish they had inside these new models? Also, more importantly, are you going with Snapdragon when it comes to Windows, or do you want to stick with the old trusty Intel chip in your Windows machine? Comment below. I read every comment and I'll make sure to comment back. And I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow here on YouTube, and I've got a lot more cool geeky videos coming your way. Tack it before you wreck it. I'm Kirk.